White people have been genetically engineered to be docile, and that's why they don't fight back. That's why they don't fight back in the face of active fascism, because they have been genetically engineered to be docile in the face of white supremacy. We talk a lot about epigenetics in regards to slavery and how that has impacted the Black diaspora, specifically Black Americans, if we're talking about America. But when it comes to the genetic modification, the technology of whiteness on white people, you either have two options. You are either a bystander or you are an active agent. The origins of modern policing in this country come from slave patrols, but it's so much deeper than that, because if you were a white man, it didn't matter what class you were in. If you were a rich slave owner, if you were a farmer, lower class, it did not matter. You had to serve in these slave patrols. It was essentially a draft. The minimum term to serve was about a year. They would also be paid, and if they didn't want to serve in these slave patrols, they would then be fined. So there is both a financial incentive as well as a financial punishment for not serving in the slave patrol, monitoring and controlling the Black population. And this was done for the benefit of the entire white population. And that legacy has trickled down into the modern era. It's a video of a violently racist person getting up in the face of a Black person, a brown person, whoever, and all the people around them do nothing. That is the technology of whiteness operating. Most people of color will have a similar story of when something racist was happening either to them or to another person of color around them, and the white people just kind of, they shut down. They literally do not, they freeze. They don't know how to react because they are programmed not to. They are programmed to just let the white supremacy and let the racial abuse continue unchecked. Even when it comes to things like protests, parades, whatever, there is always going to be peace police there. The second anybody wants to escalate, because they know that that's what's required, the people around them have more smoke for the people who are trying to escalate than the fact that there's people that are getting shot in the face. They will have more smoke for people who are escalating and engage in property damage than they will have for any of the active agents of white supremacy kidnapping and shooting people. And witnessing this in person is so trippy. Like, they will literally go on standby when they see or are in the presence of white supremacy operating in front of them. They will literally shut down. And then once it's over, ooh, they start activating. Oh my God, I can't believe what just happened. Okay, but where were you? Like, why didn't you jump in? That's how the software of white supremacy operates. You have two factory settings. You are either a bystander or you're an active agent. But when you decide to not be either of those and you become a deviant, then you're now the threat. Now you start getting the same treatment that colonized people have been getting since the dawn of time. There's a reason why bigots do not want their white family members knowing the truth, because education is malware. Education is malware under white supremacy. To really drive this home, I'm going to compare it to Detroit Become Human. If you've never heard of this, it's a decision-based story game where you play as 3 different androids. You rotate between the cop android and Kara and Marcus, who are servant androids. The overall theme of the game is like android liberation from oppressive humans, but between the two of Marcus and Kara, their main storyline is breaking free from the chains of human oppression. In these two androids, there is a specific moment where a human is telling them to not move and do nothing as they continue to be abusive and oppressive towards very vulnerable people, either a child or an older person. It's either the little girl that Kara is looking after, or it's the older man that Marcus works for. In both of these situations, there are so many paths that you can take that will have different end results that are either good or bad. The story, the game developers drive home the idea that if you do nothing, if you choose to not act, people die. Either the person that you are protecting dies, you die, or both of you are gone. The thing that makes them both break free from this technology is when they see other people getting abused and they are told to do nothing. Their story arc, their development, them coming into their heroism is because they are breaking free from this technology that is telling them to not act in the face of abuse. You will visually see them fighting to break past this technology that's preventing them from acting. That is the same thing that has to happen in real life. Physically fight the technology that is overriding your system, telling you not to do anything, telling you not to act, to be good, to stand still, to go on standby, like a good little android. Because if you stand by and do nothing, people die. And we have witnessed so much death over the past several decades, not even just the past week, the past 3 years, the past 5 years when it came to Black Lives Matter, when it comes down to Ferguson. It has to be the prerogative of all of white society, not just in this country, but globally, to shed the technology of whiteness from their psyches. It's going to be difficult. I'm not saying it's not, but it is necessary. In this moment, you have three choices. You either become a bystander for white supremacy, you become an active agent of white supremacy, or you become a deviant that fights white supremacy.